RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
Hello. That's not Ron Pacone. Hello. Nice to see you, everybody. How's the mic sounding? How is it sounding? How is it looking? How's it feeling? Nice to see you. Thank you all for being here. This will be our show before Christmas. I'm sorry I wasn't able to. I promised I would do a show during the week, and I didn't. And that is only because I had to, well, not had to, but I was honored to fill in for Mike Malloy. Robin Kincaid and I filled in on the Mike Malloy show. We pre-recorded today, so that show is just about wrapping up in 10 minutes. If you are a truth seeker, you can listen to it on the podcast or whatever, you know. Hopefully, I know we have a lot of crossover listeners and supporters, so thank you and welcome. Yeah, I know, Haiku, I need to add 100 to the episode. This is actually episode 373, not 273. So I gotta catch up with that. I'll just do it next time. Every time I type it in there, I'm like, should I change it now? Will it look weird? Who cares, right? Nobody cares. All right. Thank you for hanging out. I see the chat room hopping and popping at youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster. Tell me, how does it sound? It sounds a little something in my ear set here, my headset. And let me see. Let's see. Thank you for your support. I want to thank JD for your donation on PayPal. Thank you so much. Very generous donation. And, of course, Charlie from APS Radio News for keeping the show going and growing, and all, and your kind words and your donation to the community cats and little Booty Boo, the beautiful Boudica. And thank you guys for your feedback about the sound. I'm glad to hear it's everything sounds normal. All right, normal. Normal is all relative, though, right? And who else? Oh, yeah. I have to thank Charlie from APS Radio News. Yes. And let me see. Andrea Weinstein for your PayPal support. Thank you so much. And if you can, become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. That'll help keep the show going and growing. All right. That's enough for the plugs. That's the e-begging for tonight. And well, I might beg some more later. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And thank you, Jim, for your super chat over on the super chat YouTube channel. I have determined that during the week, hopefully I won't be as busy between Christmas and New Year. Maybe. I don't know. Because people just want to chill out. I will, try to do a show. But I have my birthday show coming up my birthday is December 27th. And, but I won't be able to do a show that night because I'm going to Carnegie Hall. Okay. Not me. I'm not going to be performing at Carnegie Hall. I belong to the lay Buddhist organization called the SGI, the Soka Gakkai International, and one of the members is a pianist, a really big wig pianist, concert pianist, and she has a solo performance over at the at Carnegie Hall, and I'm going over there. So a bunch of people are going, and it just so happens to be my birthday, so that's what I'm doing. Rather than, I don't know, sitting here and feeling sorry for myself. I'm sorry. The holidays are hard in my brain. And what else? So maybe Thursday, because I was talking to Robin about this. Last year we did a birthday show, and I had Mike Malloy and Robin Kincaid on. I know that I haven't asked Mike yet. I think I will, though. See what he says. Last year, because Mike is a very particular person, and he has the right to be. He is the master. And but I don't think he didn't like that there was, it was confusing to. I think there was a bit of a delay, so whatever. It doesn't matter. He should have just called in on Skype. It's better when you do that. I don't think it's as laggy when you call in on Skype and then the phone as compared to the phone. But we'll see. I do want to have a birthday show. Okay, what do you think about that? Is that a good idea? Probably Thursday, birthday show. All right, another year. God, when will it not? I was going to say, when will it end? But I'm not talking about myself. I was just thinking about Trump, frankly. We can't go fucking 5 minutes without being invaded by this effing parasite. It's like having a parasite, It really is. It's like having a leech that has attached itself to your soul. Well, it's attached itself to our body politic, and it's sucking the life out of us. It's not letting go. And it's like, can we get a minute? Can I get a fucking minute here? Can we get a minute without having to discuss that piece of shit? No, I guess we can't, because it's like when you are dealing with a catastrophic illness, it's got to take front and center, the forefront of your mind and your life. You have to dedicate your life to, getting your health back. And that's what the situation is. It's like our body politic has a parasite, has cancer. Yes, as Twisted Nerves painting says, a parasite that quotes Hitler daily. And that parasite is sickening us through and through. It's not the only problem. It really is a symptom. It's a symptom of our effed up lifestyle, so to speak. Right? We had a shitty lifestyle. Sometimes that's what happens. Everything is cause and effect. Like smoking, right? You may not feel the negative effects of smoking a cigarette, let's say, but it will manifest down the road, because everything, every action has a reaction. But he is a reaction to many things that we in this country that, he's the manifestation of the work we've never done. Like, we'd never finished the work of Reconstruction. And this is what allows racism to run rampant, unchecked in this country. We've also, we've discussed this before on the show, how we make too many compromises with the parasites, with the worst people who don't. I think it's that we. So it's sort of like projection. This is why Republicans, they think that everyone is as filthy and disgusting as they are, and they project on us, on everybody else, their level, the levels that they will sink to hold power. But a lot of people don't act like that. That's not everyone's motivation, and they don't, they can't imagine that, especially Trump, because he's a disgusting, sociopath. But they, the fact is, throughout our history, we've made too many concessions to things that suck. The concessions to the things that are killing us as a constitutionally limited democratic republic, that are killing the body politic. You cannot make concessions. You cannot compromise with evil, right? You can't compromise with the things that are absolutely wrong, like as we have done in our history, compromising, the 3/5 compromise. And the compromise, let me look this up. Compromise throughout American history. Let's see. Several significant compromises that have shaped the nation. Some of the most notable political compromises include the Compromise of 1790, the Compromise of 1850, the Compromise of 1877, the Connecticut Compromise, and the Constitutional Convention. Hold on, we will be right back on the holiday show. Treason's greetings from the Republican Party. I'm dribbling on myself. My coffee. So the Compromise of 1850 consisted of 5 laws that dealt with the issue of slavery and territorial expansion. It was introduced by Senator Henry Clay in an attempt to seek a compromise to avert a crisis between the North and the South. As part of this compromise, the Fugitive Slave Act was amended. California entered the Union as a free state, and a territorial government was created in Utah. And as this country was expanding, this is the problem with we had to make compromises with the filthy slave holders, and because they were afraid that when a state entered the Union, that eventually there'd be too many free states, and that would mean that the free states would vote their human property away, out of existence. Right? They would take away their human property, and so the compromise would be that as a state entered the Union, if one state entered as a free state, another state had to enter as a slave holding state. And there's the example of compromising with evil. The Fugitive Slave Act, which just unleashed terrorism in general, that those who had never known slavery at all could be kidnapped for a price and brought into the apartheid South. And of course, that's exactly what happened. I mean, I don't know how any person who had darker pigment lived in this country at that time. And in fact, we've discussed it before, how Frederick Douglass at one point just said, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." I don't know if he put it that way. And pretty soon after, I should say, that Lincoln passed or signed the Emancipation Proclamation that made him, change his mind. He said, okay, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought, because Frederick Douglass went to England prior, and he was well known all over and highly respected, very respected, very strong and powerful person, very strong, very highly respected, as Trump would say. And so he would go to England. He went to England, and he would give speeches and whatnot, generating support and money and whatnot for the cause of emancipation. And he was treated like a human being in England, and it was very shocking to him. So he was like, "Geez, I can get used to this," and that's why he was going to leave. And but anyway, it just goes to show you, you cannot compromise with evil. You shouldn't. You shouldn't compromise with snakes, because a snake is going to be a snake. A fascist is a fascist. And, like Trump is saying that he's not a Nazi. He's never read Mein Kampf. He's never read it. I have no doubt he probably never did read Mein Kampf. Who knows? Does it matter? The reason he's a Nazi is because he's a Nazi. They can't help it. In every Republican chest beats the heart of fascism. They just can't help it. That's why they talk about camps and deporting millions and, tickling the racist funny bones and everything else. The authoritarian, dictator on day one. And that's why pesky democracy gets in the way of that. So it doesn't matter whether he studied Hitler. Well, it's the characteristics. It's not like that. They share the characteristics because that's how fascists behave. They can't help it. They don't know any other way. It's in their hearts. Which is also, everything about them drives me up a wall. As you've noticed, I'm sure you have, that Republicans are calling people fascists now. Everything is, because every day is opposite day, and it's also, their motto is, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. It's a way of minimizing and, it's a way of confusing their dumbasses who are already confused. So that's why they pine for an authoritarian daddy to save them from the scary, complex world of others who don't know their place. So, but they call everybody fascist as a way of, yes, it's a way of gaslighting, and it's a way of, nullifying that word, nullifying it. So, fascist, everybody just throws that word around until it has no meaning, until they get to hide behind, their fake ass love of country as they're destroying everything this country is supposed to be founded on. It's not founded on aristocracy. It's not founded on monarchy or rule by the rich. It's not founded on. It's founded on the general welfare. Now I know we have a long road, and certainly the Americans didn't. Not all Americans had a seat at the table. That's for sure. Women, people who had darker pigment. The country was created for white men, as it was in other countries. But as the human consciousness evolves and more Americans, a diverse people, we are a nation of immigrants and culturally diverse. As more people get a seat at the table, that's when they can't handle it, and the fascism comes out. They've always been that way, as we could just in American history. Look at the KKK. As if democracy breaks out, they got something for you. They got terrorism. They have, and that all of that came from another compromise. The compromise that pulled the troops out of the South and made it just stopped it just stopped Reconstruction. Let's see. So the compromise, we talked about the compromise of 1850. The Missouri Compromise addressed the issue of slavery in the territories acquired through the Louisiana Purchase and the Mexican Secession. Oh, excuse me. These compromises were crucial in shaping the political and social landscape. Hold on a second. Compromise of 1870. The Compromise of 1850. Where was I? Wait. Oh, no. Excuse me. The Compromise of 1790. We discussed. Wait, what am I discussing here? No, we discussed the Compromise of 1850. It consisted of 5 laws that dealt with the issue of slavery and territorial expansion. Yes, we talked about that. I was trying to get it straight here. What was the Compromise of 1790? Let's see. Compromise of 1790. And when you think, the compromise, what are you compromising? You're compromising your values. You're compromising humanity. You're slicing up, you're just sacrificing human beings, certain demographics. Be right back. All right. So the Compromise of 1790 was an agreement between Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison. Hamilton succeeded in his proposal for the federal government to assume and pay off state debts. Jefferson and Madison secured the location of the national capital, the District of Columbia, for the South. This was a compromise. Okay, so this wasn't a having to do with slavery. And this compromise resolved a deadlock in Congress that was a significant example of the American political practice. The agreement, also known as the dinner table bargain, was a crucial moment in the early history of the United States, shaping the nation's financial and political landscape. Okay, so that was that. And then we had the Compromise of 1850, which was the slave state and free state nonsense. And then the Compromise of 1877, which was also known as the Bargain of 1877 or the Wormley Agreement, an informal, unwritten deal that settled the disputed 1876 presidential election. And this is when Reconstruction stopped. So the compromise resulted in Republican Rutherford B. Hayes being awarded the presidency in exchange for the removal of federal troops from the South, effectively ending Reconstruction. Additionally, the compromise involved the appointment of at least one Southern Democrat to Hayes's cabinet. Now, remember, the Democrats at the time were the slaveholders. They were the racists. They were the entrenched power structure. Things have flipped pretty much now that they, now the Republicans are the party of unabashed racism and bigotries of all sort. And we have the receipts, which we will discuss. So let's see, where was I? The construction of another transcontinental railroad through the South and the Texas legislation to help industrialize the South. The the Compromise of 1877, a significant event and led to the withdrawal of federal forces from the South, and which is what leads us to today. There had to be Reconstruction at the power of the federal government. There had to be we needed to force these conservatives to act like human beings who want to live in a democracy, but they can't do it. Which is, we talk about it all the time. Sometimes I think about the turning points in history, and that's certainly one of them. What does it matter? You get your Republican, which was the progressive party of the time. You have a Republican president. What does it matter when progress has completely stopped, and all the people, all the young men and women who sacrificed to keep this union, who left their limbs and lives on the battlefield. What for? What? For nothing. Because what ensued as soon as the troops left the South? Decades of domestic terrorism. That's conservatism. That's what they do. They don't like democracy. They don't want people to vote. They don't want to with others. They can't handle it. I'm talking about sharing civilization. They want all the benefits of civilization. Of course they do. They just don't want it to any of the responsibilities we have to each other. And they especially don't want to have to share civilization with anybody who's got different anything. When you think about how stupid it is to be racist, and there are numerous studies, of course, that talk about how racism is hand in hand with stupidity. But what are you racist about? What? Darker pigment? It is such a stupid. Who cares? You have darker pigment. It's so goddamn ridiculous. But, they just don't They can't keep up as human beings evolve, and we do. We evolve as a species, as a human race, since we've crawled out of the ooze, as you can see. There are certain, what do you call it? Enlightened, let's say universal zeitgeist or consciousness that we get enlightened at certain times and we make a step forward, like thousands of years, 4,000 of years. The morality of slavery was never even questioned, as we've discussed before, even in the Bible, in the ancient book of fables. Jesus never said a thing about slavery. He never questioned the morality of slavery, which is why the slaveholders used to use the Bible to justify holding human beings in perpetual bondage as property. So, yeah, how do you get around that? I guess they just forget about it now. They don't, slaves be good to your masters, right? They'll point to it. This is what Republicans do. They pick and choose. Now they point to with the one line in the Old Testament that said a man lying with another man is an abomination, like eating shellfish and wearing cloth of two different fabrics and whatnot. They don't talk about the fabrics or the shellfish. They want their shellfish when they go to the buffet. When they go to some low rent buffet where they can have all you can eat, right? They're chowing down on the shellfish, even though it's an abomination, right? It says it right there. Okay, but this is what we're dealing with. They're not well, and let's hey, don't take my word for it. Here's some examples. Now there's many things. What do I want to talk about today? We can start. Well, the Supreme Court handed Trump a win because they are illegitimate, and they have no honor. And Robin and I, when we recorded the Mike Malloy's show today, this is part of what we were discussing. They have no honor. They have no decency. So, of course, if they did, they would have taken Jack Smith's what do you call it? His I don't know, what is it? What do you call it? Why can't I find the word? I hope I don't have Alzheimer's. Well, he was asking them to just bypass all the bullshit, all the lower courts, and then the appellate court, and there's two courts now. That Trump is going to drag us through to get to the Supreme Court. And Jack Smith, in the interest of the American people, like what happened in the case against Nixon. Nixon wanted to keep his motion. Thank you. Thank you, Jim, on the chat. Yeah, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. His motion. And but he was asking the illegitimate Supreme Court to follow precedent and take up the case immediately and decide on whether the question of whether a filthy, disgusting Republican so-called president, despite receiving fewer votes, is immune from prosecution. Because why? Because it's in his mind, He says we have an Article 2. I don't even know what does he fucking think. That means so the founders fought a revolution to overthrow a king just to recreate a king here. There's no that's not what happened. But the Supreme Court does Trump's bidding because they are illegitimate, and we actually have. I mean, we have 3 of them are kept They're kept men. There are numerous, especially Uncle Clarence, who has no honor. He has no dignity. He has no decency in any sense of the word. But they all have been taking bribes from billionaires, which is, that in itself is an abomination. And one of the things we were talking about on Mike Malloy's show, Robin and I, is that the stuff that we say here, that the Supreme Court is illegitimate and they have no honor, because if they had honor, they wouldn't be on the Supreme Court. They would have denied or just declined Mitch McConnell's invitation to usurp the court. Right? When everybody after what should have been Merrick Garland's seat, Gorsuch, Justice I Like Beer, Amy Coney Handmaid, have no honor and are illegitimate. And it takes honor. Don't you think you have to have some sense of honor? Whereas of course they don't. You have Uncle Clarence, who's a kept man. He is... it's so disgusting. And there are stories coming out about how Uncle Clarence was kind of threatening one of the people in Congress that he wanted his salary raised. Well, you know what? You can go be a fucking high-paid, powerful attorney, Uncle Clarence, if you want to. You can open your own goddamn practice and stop whining like a whiny little bitch that you're not paid enough when you're $300,000 salary. Go get the F out of here. And just the fact, think about it. We've talked about it on the show, how someone who allows a billionaire to just do everything for them, buy them an RV, buy their mother's house and let their mother live in it for free, send their so-called son to college. When do you start feeling like I'm being used, right? Wouldn't you feel kind of funny about that? Of course, one hand washes the other, but wouldn't you? Or send him and his goddamn traitor insurrection, his wife, on a whirlwind tour of Earth for $500,000. A nice trip that costs $500,000, and flying all over on private jets. And I mean, when do you say, look, hey, I could pay for my own mother's house? It's very kind of you, but thank you very much. I'm a grown ass man with a good salary. It's kind of insulting, right? If you had any dignity, if you had any decency or self-respect, these are the same people they whine when someone gets extra $15 in a fucking food stamps or something, right? That's they're taking advantage. But they have no problem being kept men. Oh, these people they have so many issues that they really simply need to get help. Get fucking help. You know what I mean? Instead of inflicting your manias on the country. But anyway, and Ginsurrectionist, Ginny Thomas, is a very sick person too. She was in a cult, right? Now she's in another cult. And she's in the maggot cult. She went around talking about, before she found the maggot cult, she became some kind of advocate for getting out of cults, and would go around and speak about how, anybody can become a cult victim. Look at me. I'm so smart, and I'm married to my best friend who is a kept man, a billionaire who billionaires keep as a pet. But anybody, if I could fall into a cult, you can too. Yeah, she is. She was involved with LifeSpring, an organization she later considered to be a cult. In the 1980s, she sought counseling. she might want to reconsider and re-up her counseling sessions. She sought counseling and joined the Cult Awareness Network after leaving the group. She became a critic of the controversial controversial, I can't talk, controversial, how can I can't, you know what I'm saying, religious groups, speaking on panels and organizing anti-cult workshops for congressional staffers. This was in 86 and 88. Her history as an anti-cult activist has been the subject of public interest in relation to her later involvement in far-right wing conspiracy theory groups. She is one of the people that is responsible for, I mean, she's in the coup. She's a fucking traitor like the rest of us. She is an outright traitor, which is why it was her best friend, Uncle Clarence, the kept man, the little pet of the billionaires, who was the only dissenting vote on whether these text messages could be released to the peons, whether the peons get to look at what the wannabe dictator was up to when we were voting him out of office. This son of a bitch. I hate these people. But they can't help it. They are anti-American. They are anti-democratic. That's why. So here's my opinion, on Colorado. That so he first of all, I don't want. Well, in a way, it's a double-edged sword, because I think that we will have a better shot of crushing the right wing, the fascist uprising, legally and peacefully, crushing them when with Trump at the top of the ticket. And it is in our best interest as a nation to hang Trump around the neck of the Republicans like the albatross that he is. They all need to be stained with his orange pus. They allowed this con man into their party. They made him their standard bearer. They know he's a traitor. He's a danger to national security. Not only does he have classified documents in his shitter, he has them all over his Maramoron Roach Motel that is a magnet for spies. He also apparently recently came out how one of the documents that had detailed classified documents about Putin and Russia's involvement in making Trump the so-called president despite receiving fewer votes. Trump ordered that document to be delivered to him, and then it disappeared. He absconded the White House after he was voted out by we the people. He took that document, and no one has seen it. Though, as Tom Hartman said, I was listening to him earlier, and he was saying, well, I wonder what the message that Rand Paul delivered directly to Putin. What was that? Right? Well, could it have been the intelligence, the secrets, our national secrets that Trump found in these documents? Because in the documents there were human sources in there, unredacted, the spies, the people who put their lives on the line. And could it be? I don't know. I mean, Trump is a danger to national security. They know this. They know he's a traitor, but they're traitors too. You understand? That's why they want Putin they don't give a shit if Putin destroys Ukraine, if Putin takes over Ukraine and rolls over Ukrainian democracy. They don't care. They want to roll over American democracy. They want to do what their hero Viktor Orban did in Hungary. and create an illiberal democracy. They look to him as that's why they go and they have their meetings, and they go and do their whatever the hell that is, CPAC Nuremberg rallies in Hungary. Wait, hold on. And he literally calls it an illiberal democracy. And what Viktor Orban is doing in Hungary is very frightening, frankly, because he has destroyed their education system. He's made it illegal to teach gender studies, things like that. All of the things that Republicans want to do here. Okay? This is what they are. Let me see. Okay. Well, I can't spell. Liberal. Okay. So anyway. So as far as Colorado is concerned, so Trump was kicked off of the Colorado ballot because he is a traitor. The lower court had twisted the judge on the lower court twisted herself into all kinds of weird shapes, saying that Trump is a traitor and that he engaged in insurrection, but then not lowering the boom, basically, and kicking him off the ballot. But the Colorado Supreme Court, when it went to the Supreme Court, they disagreed and said that Trump is a traitor. He committed, he was involved in the insurrection, and he is not eligible to be on the ballot. Hold on, I'll be right back. And so the Republicans are losing their mind about this happening. They're saying, let the people vote. Now, these are the same people. The irony, right, is so thick. The hypocrisy is bottomless. Let the people vote. These are the same people that they tried to install a fascist in the White House despite receiving fewer votes. Again, he lost. He lost the election. They knew it. They know it. They know, but these are the ones, let the people vote. Well, the people voted. And the people actually voted, if we want to go back, talking about the illegitimate Supreme Court, the people voted for Barack Obama. And the people in 2 landslide elections gave Barack Obama that task that was part of the presidency of nominating a Supreme Court, nominating a person to be a Supreme Court justice. That we the people gave him that in 2 landslide elections. So let the people vote. And then you had Mitch McConnell, Moscow Mitch, otherwise known as the gravedigger of American democracy, step in and take that right away from the American people, because he didn't stick it to Obama, which is of course how the corporate media framed it, that he violated norms and he prevented Obama from having his nomination to the Supreme Court, even have a hearing. But that, and it's just violating norms. That's not violating a norm. You're destroying democracy. You're kicking the legs out from under democracy. You're whittling away at the pillars of democracy. And you're not doing it to Obama. You're doing it to the American people. The people, the millions who voted for him. And so you, Moscow Mitch, who represents the same amount of people that probably are in my neighborhood here in Queens, and his entire fucking state, gets to step in front of the will of the American people? It's absolutely outrageous and offensive. And why I wish that the Democrats would listen to this show and start framing the narrative correctly. This is an illegitimate Supreme Court. And so as far as Trump with Colorado, now, my opinion is that, and it's not just mine, other people are talking about it, but I'm not really hearing this on the corporate media. They're saying, well, the Republicans are saying, let the people vote. But the reason we have in the Constitution, now these are the Republicans who are, they carry around their pocket constitutions like they ever read it, and they take it out as if it's some kind of, magic something. They wave it around whenever they want to deny someone health care or a living wage or a hot lunch, right? They'll take out their pocket constitutions and they'll wave it as if that means they are constitutionalists. Well, if they were constitutionalists, they would know that it explicitly prevents or bars traitors, those who have committed insurrection against the government and have given aid and comfort to insurrectionists. It forbids them from holding office and therefore running for office. Which I find, another thing that I'm hearing these pundits on the corporate media talk about, saying that, well, it says that you can't hold office, but it doesn't say you can't run for office. Well, what happens if you win? If the traitor wins, then we just, duke it out on the steps of the Capitol again? Doesn't sound very small d democratic. But the fact is, the Constitution bars traitors from running for office because as a bulwark against a authoritarian takeover, that we're as a way to prevent or to protect, I should say, that's a more appropriate word, to protect the grand experiment against traitors who would turn it into an authoritarian hellscape. It's a way to protect the government the founders fought a revolution to create and entrust to us. This rare thing, a republic, if you can keep it. So that let the people vote. No, it's not in this case, not for a traitor who wants to destroy democracy, who is saying outright that he will be a dictator. And besides the point, we know what he will do. He is a traitor. He has engaged in an insurrection against this country. We have it on tape. We have his words. Exactly. Haiku on the chat. Aid and comfort. Go home. We love you. You're very special. This is what happens when an election is ripped from you. You piece of dirt. You effing disgusting orange turd. You filthy fascist bastards. And they want him to be the so-called president so he can finish the coup. And the Constitution has it explicitly says it, so that a mob cannot vote an authoritarian dictator into office. It's not in the realm of possibilities. Then it's a way of protecting the democracy, the country, the system, not letting it fall to autocracy, even if a mob wants it that way. We're going to have to step up. The mob is just going to have to step up and evolve. The mob, whether they like the democracy, we know that's pretty much they don't, because they are constantly undermining it at every turn. So, That's beside the point. Whether they want a effing autocrat in office, they will let us vote. No, you don't get to vote for traitors. You get to vote for people who take an oath to the Constitution and protect and preserve and defend it. That's what this country is. You know, this is what we've been talking about too on for a long time. That you, just because you don't like democracy, you don't like sharing a country with people who are different than you, that's your problem. Move. Go to. You don't get to turn this country into an authoritarian hellscape. You don't get to do that. There are plenty of other countries that you might be more comfortable in if you don't like democracy. Then move. Go to Hungary. Go to Turkey. Hungary. Go to Russia. Go to North Korea. You love it. You know, they have mandatory flag salutes. I know the Republicans are all about the mandatory flag salutes and everybody in their place, and that's what they want. They want an authoritarian daddy. So you could have one. That's, Trump. He loves North Korea. You never hear him praising the Democratic allies, right? You never hear him say how, what you hear him, but when he was squatting in the White House despite receiving fewer votes and embarrassing us and turning us into Putin's bitch, what we did hear is him denigrating our Democratic allies and really with envy, talking about how Kim Jong-un, what a smart cookie. He says jump and they all stand at attention, and that's what he wants because he's a little bitch who doesn't have the manners, the maturity, the decency, the dignity to function in a democratic society. He's not strong enough. He's a weak little bitch. And that's the dirty secret of all authoritarians. They're not strong. They're weak. They're not courageous. They're cowards. They're not anything to look up to. They should be pitied, if anything. But because it's all about, how fragile they are. They can't take criticism because they're little bitches who stand on a very slippery. They stand on sand, really, with a lot of traitors propping them up. But okay, we're back. Tara Devlin, unapologetic liberal talk. Become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Keep the show going and growing. Okay, so thank you, Charlie. Thank you, supporters. Thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And everybody else. Thank you, JD, for your PayPal donations. What was I going to play? So here's Jesse Waters. They're talking about the Colorado decision.
Trump's arrested, he becomes more powerful in the eyes of the voters. What's going to happen when they take him off the ballot? They're turning Trump into the greatest political underdog America's ever witnessed. They're setting up the greatest comeback story in American political history. They say they're protecting us from danger, but Trump's not a danger to us. He's a danger to them. And Americans are starting to ask themselves why. It feels like the left wants violence because that's where this is going. We're being baited, so their actions are justified. That's how it feels. The more the left overplays their hand, the scarier this gets.
See, that is a perfect example of stochastic terrorism right there. The left wants violence. No, we want rule of law. We want, nation of law. Remember the filthy fascists, the Republicans walking with the during the Bill Clinton impeachment, walking their phony ass charges over to the Senate to file rule of law, like we accept you, Google, like the freaks that they are. They wanted to see Bill Clinton's penis and all that. Justice I Like Beer was part of that. But the left wants violence? No. We're not committing violence. You are, that's all you, traitors. And what he's saying is violence is justified. They can't, because they don't have anything. If you notice that in every criminal charge against the traitor, Trump traitor, the filthy parasite, they never have anything true, or they don't respond legally and peacefully, of course, because they don't have anything to defend themselves with. It's always, it's a witch hunt. They respond to, I'm being picked on. Where's your, where's your defense? They have none. So, there's no greater evidence of a dead-ender ideology than violence. That's all over the world. You see that when dead-enders have nowhere to go because they have nothing. People don't want them. People have rejected them. We don't want their ideology. We don't want what they are selling or whatever they're trying to sell. I mean, they have nothing. They have racism. They have division. They have hate. And no one wants it. They have women forced birth, right? They have telling you what to read, telling you what to be. I mean, the same thing with these Republicans. They say, everyone's going to, the Democrats come in and they want you to change your gender. No. We want people to be their authentic selves, to have the freedom to live this blip of time called life that we all have to share together, to live it to live their best lives. That's the point of forming a society, a government. I know Republicans are like, well, they quote Margaret Thatcher, there is no society. Bullshit. If there's no society, get the fuck out then. That's what I love about these Republicans. They never just get the fuck out. They never just go to the woods like the Unabomber. He didn't like society. He shouldn't have bombed people, but he went into the woods. He built a cabin and he stayed in the woods. He lived off the land. They don't even have the integrity of the Unabomber to do that. But they want to... What? They want everything. They want all the benefits that liberals, progressives, Democrats, normal people fight for, and they want that. If you notice, I was on some right-wing... I was looking at this right-wing thread. Twitter is now a cesspool. It's awful. Proving yet again that Republicans destroy everything they touch. It didn't take long for Elon Musk, who is the poster child for the 90% top marginal tax rate, that's for sure. But it didn't take long for him to destroy that site and turn it into a cesspool. That's what they do. So, and I was looking at, because they're like, this thread, they were talking about Colorado and everybody's picking on them and all. And, of course, there's violence. Now the Republicans, they're sowing violence against the Supreme Court justices of Colorado. They're doxing them. They're threatening them because, they're dead-enders. And I'm reading the comments, and it's all like how everybody's picking on them and violence. And, it's just they have nothing. They have nothing. They can't defend their actions. So all they could do is cry and whine and say, everybody's picking on us. Everybody is picking on us. Where's your defense? Did Trump not commit treason? There was no insurrection? See, that's another thing, gaslighting. It wasn't an insurrection. It was Antifa. Now it's not Antifa. It's Black Lives Matter. No, it's the poor political prisoners, right? It's Antifa. It's political. Which is it? It depends. It depends on what day and what they're trying to justify. But what they have, I mean, him going on Fox News, this filthy fascist propaganda outlet that makes people stupid, as studies show, that people who watch Fox News are less informed than those who watch no news at all. Yeah, I didn't make it up. They do. They make it up. And that there was a study done by Business Insider, that socialist rag, Business Insider. And but this is what they've been doing. When you talk about violence, when you gotta go to violence, the left wants violence. The left isn't talking about violence. The left is using the legal system. The left is holding your Führer accountable in a court of law, as we should. That's why the founders, put this system in place. It's part of the freedom. It's part of a modern democracy that we don't answer we don't answer with violence. That's what they do. That's what barbarians do. We answer. We're evolved. We battle at the election booth. We battle in the legal system. The minute you gotta go to violence, it just shows you how wrong you are. What a dead ender you are. But true. But go to go. There are plenty of places. Go. But yes, Trump is a danger to them, not us. And of course, the Republicans. This is what we've been dealing with forever. They have divided this country. They've done this all along. It's conservatism in a nutshell. It's us against them. The conservatism is an ideology of hierarchy, where men, straight acting white men at the top, and then everybody else in their place. And women are. If you're a female Republican, you have to be a bigger misogynist than the regular Republican man. And if you're any type of Republican that isn't straight or white, you have to recognize the inherent superiority of your white male, cis white male, straight acting betters. And you also have to agree with how victimized they are. You have to tell them that the most poor victims, the worst victims on earth are the white men. That's what they say these things. It's sort of like, they're very deluded, but it's like the same way they have to talk about Trump as being, he's such a victim, and he's a godly man. That's another thing I saw recently. Oh my God. He's a godly man. And in fact, here, I don't know. Did we play this? I don't know if I played this already.
I don't want to say he's perfect. The only perfect person that ever walked this earth was Jesus, but he was wonderful in office for 4 years, and he proved that. So what is it about Trump that you love so much?
Number one, he's a godly man. He's working for God, for darn sure. Number two, he really cares about us. He cares about us. He cares about what happens to us. He cares about our country.
I can't handle
he didn't come in there because he wanted the money. He's got money. He's
no,
in
he
there
doesn't.
Because he is actually working for God, and he wants to help us. And he wants to get us
God.
to a good. He wants to make America great again, and I it's true.
It's true.
But I think he's going to make it even greater, because I don't think, no matter what they try to do to stop him, he's going to come back, because he's working for God, and God's on his side.
Absolutely is. God.
Wow. He's working for God, everybody. Since when? Now he's working to line his pockets, and that's it. Incredible. The delusion. I mean, these people are sick. It's very cringe. I have this other clip of another maggot. Where is it? The MAGA mime. This is what passes for entertainment in MAGAville. If you're listening on the podcast, it's some poor sap, this woman with a mime face, overalls. I don't know, what is she acting out there? What is she trying to act out? Now she's on her knees. She sucks. Is she supposed to, is that like a robot move? What is, oh, so that's supposed to be somebody who's trying to take it away from her? Oh, is that shooting something? Is that the worst thing you've ever seen today? Oh my God. Wow. It's really, I don't know, I'm speechless. It's absolutely the worst. And I'm sure she probably performed at Trump's inauguration because he couldn't get anybody who had any talent. She's a MAGA mime. The poor woman. I mean, what a sucker. Oh, the other thing that I was thinking about when I was going through the right-wing comments and whatnot, and what is a common theme for them? It's very interesting. Is that the government does everything. Now, as you know, the Republicans are talking about open borders. As you know, whenever there's a Democratic president or a Democratic administration, the Republicans cry that we have open borders, and we don't. But we don't have open borders. No administration had a policy of open borders. Okay, but the fact is, the Republicans they say that because it's like a siren song, because they want there to be complete chaos at the border. They want that because they want to go down and they want to point and they want to foment, hatred as they do. They want people to be afraid. They want to say that, they're terrorists and everyone's coming to kill them. And when I was looking at these, the comments of the maggots on talking about immigration, and that's why the Republicans will never, ever come up with a deal. They're not adults, right? If you guys remember, in fact, Robin Kincaid reminded me of that 10 years ago, there were there's a bipartisan group of legislators called the Gang of Eight, 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans. And they worked together and they came up with this bipartisan agreement about immigration reform that was, I guess, they all agreed on, except for the fact that the Republicans blocked it. They don't want to do anything about immigration. That's why they just want to use people as pawns. They want to send they want to trick people, send them on a bus, telling them that they have a job waiting for them, and then dump them in front of the vice president's house, because they don't want to come up with a solution. They don't want to come up with a solution for any of our problems or any of the issues that we have. That's the nature of life, though. There are problems, there are issues that have to be addressed periodically. All Republicans do is whine. They whine about the issues, but they do nothing about them. They say, "Why did they'll just point fingers and say, everything was beautiful when the con man who received fewer votes squatted in the White House and killed 1 million Americans, right? And told them to inject bleach. Then it was fabulous. They never said a damn thing about open borders, right? But the fact is, they don't want a deal about for immigration. They want there to be chaos, and that's what they do. So, but in the comments, what I noticed was that the average Joe dumbasses were like, "Oh, these people get everything," talking about the people trying to get into the country, and we give them everything, but we get nothing. That was a common theme in which I noticed in the threads that I was watching, and which I find interesting because, and of course I had to respond to them, and I was like, "You get nothing. Stop voting Republican." You see, they want universal health care for themselves. They want education, right? Well, maybe not for themselves, but for their kids. They want that. They want living wages. They want to have maternity leave, paternity leave. They want all of the things that liberals fight for. And Republicans roll back, destroy, do nothing, in the very least, when they have power. They want all the benefits of liberal blood, sweat, and tears, but they don't want, they don't want to share. That's what it's about. They want it for them. They want welfare. They want the unemployment insurance. It's one of the things that I remember back during the second near Republican Great Depression, now known as the Great Recession, when there was an article in the New York Times about how right-wingers, basically, these conservatives, and I think the headline was people who depend on public assistance or welfare, disparage it or something like that, and they or criticize it. Let me see if I can find it. Who depend, and there was stories about those who had lost their jobs, and they're keeping afloat only because of liberal policies that they criticize, and they just couldn't let go of the criticism. So they would ask people, "Well, you have food stamps, you have unemployment insurance, you have, you're on welfare, you're on public assistance," and they're like, "Yes, and I wouldn't be able to live without it because of whatever. One of the guys had got hurt at work and couldn't work." And but if this were Republican dreamland, go to the church. Ask the church to give you some bread for the day. Maybe it'll get you through lunch, right? And in the article, they still could not stop themselves from criticizing the public assistance in general, or criticizing any social safety net, because they've been so propagandized. That's all they hear. So, and they can't help it. They're in a cult. If they even though they take the benefits that that liberals fought for, despite of Republicans, and Republicans continuously disparage and destroy, they just can't bring themselves to, change their minds, because that will mean that they're out of the cult, and it's always been a cult. Trump just really solidified it, but they've always been this way. They're delusional. They project. They're they're a bunch of they're hard to share the same air with legally and peacefully, especially now, because they are fascists trying to overthrow America. They hate our nation of laws. They hate our system of government. They hate it. And they continue to lie. They're disgusting. For example, here's where is it? Roseanne. They had this. When they get together, these Republicans, it always turns into a Nazi fest. And here's Roseanne screaming. They had this Turning Point USA, whatever they do, Nuremberg rally.
Stalinist! Communists! With a huge helping of Nazi fascists thrown in.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Plus,
incredible.
Won the caliphate to replace every Christian democracy on earth now.
Wow. It's like a rake on a chalkboard. Fascist, communist, socialist, Stalinists. What else? Every word. Just throw it out there. It doesn't mean anything. Words have no meaning for Republicans. They're just triggers. They're just whatever will trigger the latest faux rage. So let me see where. Let me see. Well, I see the Progressive Voices show we're winding down towards the end. What do I got here? We might as well talk about this because it's kind of related. Talking about the Republican reaction to the Supreme Court. To the Colorado Supreme Court. Here's remember Tina Forte, this dumb bitch Tina Forte. And I live in AOC's district. She's my congresswoman. And Tina Forte, for years, we've discussed her many times. She is like a rake on a chalkboard, this woman. She's constantly trying to, I don't know, maybe it's just so she can up her social media, but she pretends to be running for AOC's seat, and she gave us an example of the scintillating discourse and commentary of a typical Republican, a family values Republican, talking about the Supreme Court, where she called the Colorado Supreme Court third world, and I'll say, see you next Tuesdays. And I cut this out on I have the clip, but at the end where she says the see you next Tuesday word, I censored it because I don't want YouTube to demonetize the video. But let's listen into the very scintillating, mature, and I don't know, the cutting, biting, very mature and well reasoned public discourse of a typical Republican.
And how afraid the Democrats are for us to vote, we the people. This isn't up to those third world cunts.
Oh, I forgot that part.
Okay? This is up to the people. They shouldn't have a say, but they're getting all this out of the playbook of the communists, the Communist Playbook. Remember that.
What does she know?
Once this hits Supreme Court, it's going to be overturned, but if Democrats controlled everything, it would stand. That should fucking scare you. It should scare each and every one of you. What a joke that this decision is. Afraid to let us vote?
See, that's all they have. They don't understand. They don't reason anything through. It's not about afraid to let you vote, scummy. Like I said, it's in the Constitution that you hate, that I know you pretend to love, like you pretend to love America, but insurrectionists don't get to run for office. They don't get to threaten us, to threaten the constitutionally limited democratic republic. There's no chance of an insurrectionist, a wannabe dictator, being voted in by a mob of goons like you, like violent goons like the Republicans, and getting into office to overturn the system the founders, entrusted to us. That's what it says. It's not about the people not getting to vote. Not everybody is not allowed to run. There are standards for public office. I know that Republicans have no standards, that there is no too low, no bottom, that they put the absolute worst people in positions of power. But there are requirements for being a candidate, and there are requirements for being a president. There are certain things. You have to be above a certain age, right? You have to, that's one of the requirements. It's not like they're flipping out because some young, some 21-year-old like Ethan Schmidt, closet case Ethan Schmidt wants to run and he can't. It's in the Constitution, just like it's in the Constitution that a traitor can't run for office, can't hold office. Whether you want to vote for the traitor or not. But, okay, it gets better.
It's our decision. We, the people.
The Constitution.
This needs to be reversed.
That's why they call it a constitutionally limited democratic republic. That's what it is. This is a nation of laws, constitutionally limited. We have to follow the Constitution. Oh, it'll be overturned by the illegitimate Supreme Court. That's fine. I think if Trump runs if he's on the ticket, it just goes to show you what a dead end ideology the Republicans are, what a lost cause, what a corpse they are, and they're all him. So look at her. But has she said anything intelligent, anything cogent, anything mature, anything reasoned? Fuck you, see you next Tuesdays? That's the scintillating public, that's the scintillating discourse.
And it needs to stop. It needs to fucking stop. What are you afraid of? You're so afraid of Donald Trump. Why? Because our country was good under him?
Our country was good under him. Not exactly. Listen. Thank you, Progressive Voices, for hanging out. We will win. Happy Christmas. Thank God we can say Merry Christmas again. Happy holidays. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together, we win. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. And I will see you very soon. My name is Tara Devlin. Become a patron. Support the show. Do all those things. All right. Because the country was good under him? Is that what you're afraid of? What is this accent? What an embarrassment. I hope I don't. Do I sound like that? I mean, maybe a little. Not like, I mean, she's a moron. AOC, she's the one that was like, the C is for coward. Come on, AOC, debate me. Debate me. They always want to debate. What are you going to debate? AOC, you're an effing cunt. I know I said it. I didn't mean to.
Afraid to let us vote?
To let us vote?
Our decision.
No, it's not.
People.
A traitor is ineligible, honey. And curse all you want. And I mean, the anger, the outrage, the constant faux rage, the angertainment. Yes, and she's an insurrectionist herself. That's right. Errol Thomas. She was at the insurrection. Why isn't she in jail? Did she breach the Capitol? What happened? Insurrection. I will go out on a limb and say there's no chance she's going to take AOC's seat. Yes, AOC's opponent was at the Capitol on January 6th and has the support of extremists.
This needs to be reversed quickly.
Oh, but we will, Tina. Now that we've heard your very cogent argument, Tina, we're going to reverse. We're the Supreme Court. Thank you so much, Tina. You really shook it into us. And now we know. We know the error of our ways here. Let the people vote for an insurrectionist. That's the part of the Constitution. Forget the Constitution. We're going to let the people vote. Thank you. We will reverse it. And it will be really quick, Tina. Because you have destroyed us with your debating skills, with your command of the English language. Oh, Tina, all those curse words. You cut right through everything else, all our legal arguments, all our precedent, all our citing former legal arguments that went through, like the Nixon thing and all the other things. Now we know, we heard you. You called us C words. You said F you, and we got it. We got it, Tina. Thank you, Republicans, for making it to just, you're so mature with your maturity. Telling us. Now we know we're wrong. The Supreme Court, forget our fancy degrees and all our legal books and library, going into the library and citing precedent and citing the Constitution, even citing the Supreme Court Justice himself. We know.
It needs to fucking stop. What are you afraid of?
What are we
You're so afraid of Donald Trump.
We're afraid. We are afraid. We're afraid an insurrectionist is going to come in and be a dictator on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, all into the day. Every single day for the rest of our days. That's the fear. That's what the Constitution says. Don't let it even happen. The people, we're not afraid of the people. We're just afraid of the mob of morons that are going to put an insurrectionist. Like the Constitution says, you could choose, but you can't choose an insurrectionist. You just can't. You can't choose somebody that violated his oath. Okay. Yeah, Tina.
Why? Because our country was good under him? It was safe? It was flourishing?
Flourishing? I got a very good word for you. It was flourishing. What is it, a flower? It was flourishing. It was good Because we could say the N word, we could say the C word, we could say, we could drink as much bleach as we wanted, we could take as much horse pills as we wanted, we could kill 500,000 Americans and had mass graves. Remember how great those mass graves were? We had mass graves like nobody ever seen.
Like I said, Trump 2024, motherfucker, fuck out of here. And fuck you, third world.
She just puts a fine point on it. She saves the best for last. She puts a fine point. She just, she just got that, she got that crazy Karen eyes. Supreme Court, my name is Tina Forte. And come on. That's the best they got. That's who they are. It's incredible. Here's another filthy, disgusting person. Here's Stephen Miller. I just want to play this. The Nazi Jew who hates himself and hates America, talking to Jesse Waters about immigration.
We are being conquered. This is a complete resettlement of America in real time. Now we have millions of people coming in from different cultures and different ways of living and different belief systems. Unless there is massive, large-scale deportations by the millions, it will be irrevocable.
Can you believe these people? Yes, but tell me again about the fascists. Tell me again, Roseanne, about the fascists, the Stalinists, the communists, the socialists, the Yes, I'm not a fascist. You're a fascist. This has got to stop. We want to vote for our insurrectionist. We need the insurrection. America was great under Donald J. Trump. It was great when he undermined the integrity of elections and to engage in all those voter suppression efforts. Remember when he called people up and he was like, I just want you to find 11,000 something votes. Yeah, remember how he pardoned war criminals? Remember that? 10 worst things Trump did. He pardoned war criminals. Trump showed a flagrant disregard for the rule of law by pardoning Blackwater contractors who massacred unarmed civilians. Remember that? Including women and children. Yeah, I remember that. He vetoed the bipartisan National Defense Authorization Act that vetoing $741 billion in military spending and a 3% pay raise for the troops. He vetoed that. But the Republicans love the troops. 3%. 3 effing percent. That's too much. It's 3% too much. You should just die. You should get nothing. Get like the good old days. Slave labor. He ordered the drawdown of the U.S. forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. Remember, but though they blame Biden, Trump was talked out of a complete withdrawal, but reducing it to 2,500 troops, despite an ongoing terrorist threat. He put millions in limbo by threatening to veto coronavirus relief. Remember when we were hit with the pandemic and we had this clown squatting in the White House despite receiving fewer votes? And he was like, hey, you guys just look to yourselves. All right, forget the federal government. He was telling the states, you should all just try to fight over ventilators. Look to, if you find a better way, just do it. It's all haphazard. It's all just nothing. We got we do nothing. We got nothing for you. Like, that's the Republican way. Just do nothing. Look to yourselves. Do nothing. You know, like when Trump said, we love you. Have a good life. He might as well have said, tied it up with, you're on your own. He, let's see, he's also, remember when he used to disparage and yell at reporters, right? The enemy of the people. Right out of the Nazi playbook. He alienating the American people rather than uniting. Of course, you know, the coronavirus, when we have, usually when you have a national crisis, the country comes together. But not under Republicans like Trump and this rotting corpse of a party. They used it as an opportunity to further divide people. I mean, it could have been an incredibly unifying moment for the American people. Oh, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to take a vaccine that might help my fellow Americans. Or how about the people on the front lines? You know, the doctors and the nurses in the emergency rooms that couldn't take a day off for over a year. Because watching around the clock, you know, the 16-hour days, watching people croak. Mass graves, like nobody ever seen. But that's okay. Don't wear a mask. Freedom! Because that's the least you can do. You can't do one thing. You can't put a piece of cloth over your face for your fellow Americans. That's too much. That's a bridge too far. Incredible. He let's see. He, of course, refused to accept the results of an election he lost, further dividing the American people. He also discussed imposing martial law after he lost the election. He lost. Suckers, Republicans. But Republicans, they don't care. They hate the American people. He raised housing payments for new home buyers by $500. On its first day, the Trump administration reversed an Obama administration's action to lower federal housing administration or mortgage insurance premiums for new home buyers by 25 basis points, which could have lowered mortgage payments for over 1 million households purchasing or refinancing their homes. Yeah, right out of the gate, he fucked the American people. He attacked the Department of Labor's fiduciary rule, which would have required retirement advisors to act in their clients' best financial interest. Yeah. Well, I remember when that happened. Because, you know, you need to be able to grift from the dupes. You need to be able to take their money, take their retirement, and put it in your own pockets. Like Trump. You don't need that money. Go die. Go die. He delayed court proceedings on the Obama administration's expansion of overtime. Oh, you know, because you don't deserve overtime pay. He failed to defend this pro-worker rule put in place by the Obama administration, and he rolled it back. That's what Republicans do. And this would have raised wages for workers by $12 billion over 10 years and extended overtime protections to 4.2 million more Americans. But he, of course, fucked us. He repealed the Fair Pay and Safe Workplace Executive Order, which ensured that federal contractors complied with worker protection laws before receiving government contracts. Because you're nothing. Workers are nothing. Let them go die. Let them be turned in, let them lose limbs. Let them work in unsafe working conditions. Who cares? It's not you. You need money. And these idiots voted for him, and want to do it again. On top of everything, every way that that these Republicans have screwed the American people. He supported efforts in Congress to cut taxes on the wealthy. Of course, we know that. Trying to cut taxes that were supposed to fund the ACA. Because that's what the Republicans do. They don't want, they complain. Oh, the ACA is so expensive. Healthcare is so expensive. Thank the Republicans. It goes on and on. He made it harder for veterans to find jobs with a federal hiring freeze. Proposed budget cuts that would devastate rural America. Proposed slashing job training programs for and worker wage and safety enforcement. He had budget cuts that would increase roadway congestion. And I mean, it's just in every way that he could screw Americans. That's what he did. He's a disgusting parasite. And he's already said he went to this, wherever the hell he was. He was talking to a bunch of rich donors. He's like, oh, don't worry. This was recently. You guys, I'm going to give you the greatest tax gift. I'm going to cut your taxes. Why don't you just give him a blowjob, too, Trump? After cutting their taxes, after the funneling more money into the arms of oligarchs, after screwing the American people more with this Trump tax giveaway that robbed from the working class and gave to the oligarchy, he wants to do it again. He wants to make income disparity and upward immobility worse. Because that's all Republicans can do. And I don't know. It was so great under Trump. Why? What's wrong with them? You know why it was great for them? Because they could hate. They hate everybody. They hate this. They just have the hate. Let it hate. Let the hate out. Hate gay people. Hate trans people. Hate brown people, black people, any people that's not them, non-Christian people. They hate diversity. They hate difference. That to them is it's not strength to them. They hate it. Oh yeah, it's like, and speaking of, another episode of the leopards eating my face, right? I didn't know that voting for the leopard eating my face party, that they would actually eat my face. That's recently another gay Republican was harassed at one of these Nuremberg rallies. So, black gay Trump supporter brutally taunted with slurs at a right-wing conference. He was shocked. I tell you, shocked. Black gay Republican podcaster Rob Smith claimed that white supremacist members of the Republican Party called him a slur, starting with an F, for gays, and the N-word during his Sunday night attendance of Turning Point USA's America Fest. America Fest. Oh God, these people. They talk about America like she's a streetwalker. Though Smith posted a video of his brief interaction with the aggressors, commenters on Twitter noted that the video didn't feature the N-word and mocked Smith for his membership in an anti-gay political party. Last night in Phoenix, this is what he said. I was confronted and surrounded by some white supremacists. Well, what are you doing in a party with white supremacists that don't like gays or blacks in the Republican Party? Smith wrote. They shouted the N-word and the F-word at me to make their point. However, this is what he says, however, I served in Iraq. I never backed down. I don't know what that has to do with, whatever. He's saying, I served in Iraq. I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the good N-words. I'm one of the good F-words. No, don't eat my face, leopards eating my face, party. Don't eat my face. The accompanying video in Smith's post showed a group of young white men mocking him as he recorded a video of himself on his smartphone, repeatedly saying, "I've got fans." After a while, the men, this is very bizarre, the men started chanting, "Gay sex." Okay, what do I say? If only these Republicans would get help. These people clearly want the arms of a big, strong man around them. That's what you chant? Gay sex, gay sex, gay sex. Because they want gay sex. And they are cowards. Maybe it's like that woman, what's her face? The Mobs for Liberty woman who is who hates gays, but is gay herself. Right? So they're typical. It's so boring how basic they are. If only they get help. Just get fucking help. I know it takes courage, and courage is anathema to a Republican. It's a foreign concept. But do it anyway. What a very bizarre thing to chant to somebody. Gay sex, gay sex. It's incredible. When the men quieted down, Smith replied, "Yes, Nick Fuentes loves gay sex." The crowd then booed him. One man said, "No, he doesn't." Another led the group in chanting F-word. The group then started chanting America First. Wow. They were certainly born in the wrong time in the wrong country. They should have been born in 1930s Germany, that's for sure. One commenter on Twitter replied saying, "Black guy lying about being called the N-word as usual. Even then, it's just a word." See, they want to be able to say the N-word. Of all the words there are, they need to say that one. And what have I said forever? I've said this to people who are normal people, and they're like, "Oh, come on." I have said this for years. Republicans think they're not free unless they can call people the N-word. That's it. That's freedom to them. It's not going to a doctor when you're sick. It's not taking a day off or, living wages, retirement security, freedom to, get an abortion if you need one. And no. The freedom, they want to be free, to be as disgusting as they are, to hate people openly and not have any backlash. And I remember saying this to one of my friends, and she was like, "Oh, come on. That's, they think I'm being hyperbolic." It's not. No. Can they stop proving me right? That's it right there. Even then, it's just a word. It's not just a word. It is a word, yeah, technically, but it's a word with a historical weight to it, and a degrading historical weight that it holds a lot of pain. And that word was the last word that many human beings heard before they were illegally, extrajudicially, and ugly, dragged to their death, or hung, or murdered, hanged, I should say. So have some compassion. Oh, that's too woke. That's woke. Thinking. Being a human. Giving a shit about somebody but yourself. That's too woke. You see. But it happens all the time. Republicans are... how many times that we've seen it before where Republicans, gay Republicans, Republicans of different pigments have been shocked when the Republican hate turns against them, like Caitlyn Jenner. They constantly, consistently misgender her and harass her, calling her Bruce. We have videos of this, of them chasing her through the whatever Nuremberg rally, being her. I mean, why? Why do you want to put up with that shit? But the fact is, why? When you think about the idiots that do it, why? What's wrong with you? What do you care? What is your damage? But, Republican, there you go. There's, it's like George Santos, Caitlyn Jenner, the so-called LGBTQ Republicans benefiting from the work, the blood, sweat, and tears that progressives, the world, the policies progressives fight for against the conservatives, against the Republicans. They take advantage of all of the benefits that we fought for. They, without any consciousness about it, without even the manners or the maturity to say thanks. Yeah, log cabin Republicans and whoever. Even that. There's always stories about the log cabin Republicans being disinvited from certain Nuremberg rallies and them being shocked and disappointed. I mean, they have no self-respect. Oh, I'm a fiscal. That's what they say. I like the fiscal policies of what? Of funneling money into the oligarchy's pockets? The fiscal. There's no economy better than the Biden economy right now. Right? Oh, it's not breaking through, though. 33% of Americans think that Biden's economy sucks. Well, shut the fuck up and maybe inform them. Because they go on Fox News and all they hear are the lies and how everything sucks and how they're going to have to get violent. And then they turn on the so-called liberal media and all they hear is that everybody thinks it sucks. Why do they think it sucks? When it's this and it's that, but they just keep harping on it. Unbelievable. Job creation. There's been a surge in household wealth. 14 million jobs added. Trump is the only president since Herbert Hoover to leave office with less jobs than he came in with. And it was before the pandemic. Oh, because they blame the pandemic for everything. Oh, that was that. No, it was before. You see? I'll show you. I have a chart right here. Oops. Hold on. Let me see. I have a chart. I swear to God. I swears it. And thank you, Jim, for your second super chat for my birthday. Happy birthday, Tara, Jim says. Thank you. If you want to make me happy out there, become a patron at patreon.com/TaraDevil. And I will, my goal during next week is to get the memberships on the YouTube channel up and running. All All right, here's a picture of economic growth. You see, oh, this is the first lockdowns. Here's the coronavirus. Look at all those jobs. But look at the jobs here, right before the scumbag just, killed Americans in the coronavirus. And look at how the little tiny line of jobs. Look at Biden. Even, okay, you have the surge after. Look at that. Look at all those jobs. Boom, boom, boom. And I see, when they talk about it on, like Larry Kudlow, he makes a face like he just smelled a fart. Because they don't want to give Joe Biden any credit. Right? And Trump was like, if I'm not elected, if Joe Biden's elected, there will be a depression. Remember that? There will be, everything's going to suck. All right, so before we go, because I see the time is ticking down, we have about 4 minutes left. I just want to, I should have probably said something about this earlier, but because it was on the list, that right before we went on air, I don't know if you noticed that all day today, Trump smells, hashtag Trump smells has been trending. Trump smells. Well, it seems Trump is he's very triggered about he's triggered, because he is a filthy fascist, and it's all about the outside. And he's who doesn't believe that Trump smells? It's sort of like when they talked about, everything about Trump, how you hear the stories of him saying, oh, I don't get it. Why, disparaging veterans and people who gave their lives for this country, lives and limbs, calling them, losers, right? Oh, well, these losers, I don't get it and whatnot. It's not like anybody was like, well, gee, that's just so out of character. It's so unlike him. But according to Adam Kinzinger, he tweeted earlier that people should wear a mask in Trump's presence. And he said that, where is it? He said that, why the hell is, I'm genuinely surprised how people close to Trump haven't talked about his odor. It's truly something to behold. Wear a mask if you can. And a Trump spokesperson knocked the ball back into Kinzinger's court with a response. Listen to this. Adam Kinzinger farted on live TV and is an unemployed fraud. Wow. You see? This is what we're dealing with. Children. Actually, what? No, he didn't fart. I mean, I think there was a noise when Eric Swalwell was being interviewed. Nobody knows if it's a fart, but these idiots kept playing it. Oh, he farted. Because they're immature. They're children. And to say, and then of course they go on, he has disgraced his country. He disrespects, is talking about Adam Kinzinger, he disrespects everyone around him because he is a sad individual who is mad about how miserable his life turned out. Who does that sound like? It certainly doesn't sound like Adam Kinzinger. That's Trump. He's a sad individual. I mean, can we get off the schoolyard already? That's what's so tedious about these idiots. They lack, and what have I said? I know, all the time. Republicans lack the basic, fundamental, just the bottom, just the bare minimum of maturity required to function in a free, democratic society that they can only pretend to love. All right. Well, anyway, keep coming back. It works if you work it, so work it. You're worth it. Yes, Elise on the chat, they are so pathetic. They achieve nothing at all. Nothing. Worse than nothing. They add nothing. They add poison. They make everything worse. But we will win. We're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Merry Christmas, guys. We stick together, we win. My name is Tara Devlin. I'll see you soon. Become a patron. Patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Thank you, Charlie, APS Radio News. Thank you all for your support. I'll see you. All right. Guys. I don't know. Maybe I'll have my show on Tuesday. I don't know. I have to think about these things. My birthday show. You know what song is in my head? Because we played Oh Holy Nightmare. That's a tradition on the Malloy Show. Every year he plays Oh Holy Nightmare. And that song is in my head. Fall on your knees. I can't do it. I won't do it to you. I won't. I just won't. I'm nicer than that. All right, my friends. Listen. Thank you so much for hanging out every Friday night at 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gives me a reason for the season to keep going. Keep going and growing. Yeah. I love you all. I can't thank you enough. I should put this up more often. My identification. All right, listen, guys. I love you. Yes, you have to look that up. Oh, Holy Nightmare. It's a song. I don't know what it's somebody sing. It's the worst version of Oh Holy Nightmare. I don't know where he got it from. Where Mike got it from. But if you want to hear it, you should listen to tonight's Mike Malloy show. It's at the end of the show. If you're not a truth seeker, you should be. If you're not a supporter of Robin Kincaid's Head On show with Robin Kincaid, you should be. This is the triumvirate, we call it. Even Mike is he is the pinnacle, of course. He's the master. We are the students. But it's the three. The power of three will set you free. Me, Robin, and Mike. The power of three. All right, my friends. Look at Boudica. She's a good girl. She is a good girl. Have a wonderful Christmas on Monday. We'll see what happens. If I feel like it, maybe I'll do a show Tuesday. Oh, thank you, Robin, for your super chat right under the gate. Peace, love, you rock. Happy birthday. Merry Magic. Thank you, Robin. Very much appreciated. Hugs. Holiday hugs to everyone, Elise says. Happy birthday, Tara. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I do love you all. I love hanging out with you every Friday night. At this little channel we got going on. Hopefully we'll keep going and growing. Tell your friends about it. Invite your friends. This is our hanging out time around the campfire, as Mike would say, too. Okay? We're trying... in fact, I got to get on Robin's case. We've been threatening to do a show. Robin and I like to add to just do another show with the two of us. I think we should. And on this, on this channel probably. But Robin is dragging her feet. I have to get on her case more. Because she said that she has to clean out her studio and whatnot. Hopefully in the New Year's. In the New Year's. AOC. The C is for coward. All right, my friends, I love you. Twisted Nerves Painting says, I am wearing my ugly Christmas sweater right now. That's nice. It's Hans Gruber falling to his death. That's amazing. That's the best Christmas sweater I've heard about. That is so funny. Where the hell did you get that? That's amazing. All right. Guys. And for those who don't know, I just looked it up. Die Hard's John McClane removes Holly's watch and breaks Gruber's grip, resulting in Hans Gruber falling. Now one of the most iconic scenes in action movie history, for those who don't know. All right, my loves, you're the best. Remember, we do have a Discord page. You can come and hang out there. You could post. You could contact me directly. And other things. All right, my loves, my beautifuls, my preciouses. You are the precious. And we will win. Have a great Christmas. Happy Saturnalia. Saturnalia. I usually do a Saturnalia show. I didn't do it this year. I don't know. I'm kind of down. I'm just down in the dumps. It's all right. I'll get over it. I have my emotional support cats. I have you. My emotional support humans. My emotional support patrons. All right. My name is Tara Devlin. We stick together. We win. We do. And happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. And I'll see you next week on my birthday show.